Welcome to another 10-minute investor eye test video. This is Sasha with Arcanum Ventures here with my good friend Carmelo. How are you doing, brother?
Doing all right. Just arrived in Turkey and loving it so far. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Today we're looking at Aether Games. Super hype, super pumped, super cool looking card game. I think Aether Games is a game development studio developing a number of games, but I think most notably Cards of Eternity, at least the last I heard. And so we're taking a look at Aether Games today because they're launching a token soon. Carmelo, we know this company quite well, actually, don't we?
I wouldn't say quite well, and I think we did some due diligence on it maybe a year and a half ago, and we had a pretty good grasp of it then. But you know how quickly things move in this space, so I have no idea what they're doing, why they're raising so much money, what the studio is doing, and what games titles they plan on launching in the future. I think you're right. They have a card game now. Maybe that's just their foot in the door. I don't know what they're gonna do next. So it's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, dude. So I guess with that being said, let's go ahead and start our clock. 10 minutes on the clock, starting meow. And we've got Aether Games up here. I've got crypto rank up, as you guys can see. They have an IDO, and I believe they're launching a token tomorrow, maybe the next day. But there's an IDO. There's IDOs happening all week, I guess. There's an IDO happening. That happened yesterday. An IDO the week before. But let's take a quick look at fundraising. And so here's some crazy numbers, as you guys can tell. Apparently, they've raised, according to CryptoRank, over $12 million. And they're looking at a fully diluted market cap of the token supply of 45 million. That's a lot here. Carmelo, what's your take on this, man?
Yeah, that's a lot of rounds and a lot of raise, and it looks like they have an IEO on Bybit. Uh, so that's got to be the listing, right? Like it's an exchange, so I guess it's going to be
Yeah.
listing on the 7th. They're on just about every launchpad you can think of, and
But check this out. The IEO on Bybit for 2 cents a token, and then IDOs for more than double that. This is very strange. Are the IDO platforms getting shafted here?
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that CryptoRank is not up to date. But if this is indeed the case, then that's not a good look. That's very bad. If I were an IDO launchpad user, I'd be livid, and that's a lot of launchpads. I think we've seen this many launchpads before for a few gaming studios last cycle, and it didn't really work as well as it would in theory, or what you would think at least.
Absolutely. I don't want to bias myself, but you and I know tokenomics quite well. And so for example, I'm seeing strategic sale here of 3.2 cents a token. And then I'm seeing a private sale here for 4 cents. That's a big jump between strategic and private round, and more concerning, private at 4 cents to a public IDO at 4.5 cents. That's not a big discount for the private sale. In fact, I would probably not consider investing in that private sale whatsoever. So it's just really strange. Like this looks like a fundraising mess, to be honest. I think there's a lot of rounds here. There's a lot of different stakeholders, and you and I are quite familiar with the launchpad space. This is more than a headache to handle on launch day.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I think it's hard to stay up to date and keep all the information accurate and current on these platforms, especially if you have 15 IDO platforms to manage. So maybe it's not as bad as it looks.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I think it's gonna be a big day for these guys. They've got some interesting investors here. They've got Polygon Ventures, Polka Starter, Magic Eden, GSR. So some notable guys. Some more not so notable guys as well. So it looks like they've raised money, across many different corners of the crypto space. And let's just go ahead and dive into the site and see what this looks like. I think the last time we took a look at it was like a year and a half ago. Boom. All right. Aether trading card game. Um, Carmelo, what are you seeing, man?
Well, game's already live, so that's good. They got 3 calls to action. I don't know what Hyperplay or Ultra are, but I know Epic Games, so that's pretty big that they're
Mhm.
on Epic Games. They got Quest Mint, so they got login, I think, over on the right. Mint is interesting
Hmm.
because I'm wondering, like, obviously they have their fungible token, which the sole purpose of this video is basically to determine what the fungible token does and if it is worth buying as an investor. And mint means that there's digital assets, probably like NFTs or packs of cards. So it's interesting that looks like you can buy these packs for USD. Um,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money for a pack of cards, but maybe they're really great packs of cards. We don't know.
Oh, I mean, like compared to some other trading card games in the market and just historically, I mean, I know there's like a premium when it comes to NFT collectibles, but if you've got to buy some cards just to play the game at like maybe a decent level, that's quite a bit actually. Let's see what vesting's all about. I'm actually a bit concerned about seeing vesting here. It seems like out of place when it comes to, creating a digital asset solely for your game. Um, all right. Well, I guess there's a vesting schedule. That might be like an investor portal. So people that are investing in the game, obviously, the website seems to be catering towards people that are on the pre-sale side of the token. So interesting there.
Aether Games is a game development studio that creates high end with over 200 unique cards. You know, yeah, I have some criticisms, and I don't like being negative, but I think one issue with Web3 gaming is the barrier of entry. So you need to pay $275 or $175 to play this game. I don't see anything about a free mode, and I also don't think 200 unique cards is that impressive for a card game. Like if you look at Magic: The Gathering, I think they have 100,000 different cards. So you got to imagine that they're looking to unseat Magic. That is the king of TCGs. So granted, it's not online and it's like a physical in real life game, but still, like, how are you going to blow people's minds with 200 cards?
Yeah, I mean that is a good point. I think it's fair to consider like Magic the Gathering has been around for a long time, and I think like the company itself, they're generating hundreds of millions in revenue on a yearly basis. I think it's kind of insane how much money they're making, and so at the same time, it looks like they've got animated art for their cards. So I wonder if they're creating this in house. Maybe they might be using some AI tools, in-game economy facilitating card crafting and trading. But yeah, 200 unique cards is quite low. At the same time, this $300 barrier of entry, I would expect a premium product at least. Like, come on, guys, you don't need to have like grammatical errors in your website if you're going to charge people $300 to be a player. This is a bit much. I guess this is the animation. It's sort of like 3D art that rotates. This looks kind of cool though. Does look good.
Yeah, I mean, I won't knock the animation, and like I can tell that they have a pro team that put a lot of thought into what they're creating. Uh, I think we saw something earlier about like paying with the actual token for loot boxes, but I don't know how that plugs into the business model either.
I guess we'll get into that, but it looks like they've got a pretty big team. So, wow, there's a big team here. And these seem like all full-time roles. So they've got full stack developers, UI, UX, artists, CEO. Jens, at only 15 years old, Jens was the highest rated player in the World of Warcraft. As a multi-rank one player in WoW led him to being close friends with other professional gamers and thus becoming an esports manager. Since then, he's worked with MasterCard, Priceless, Lenovo Legion, Veritas, and other top brands. Um, doesn't do a great job of building confidence that he has the experience to be a CEO of a company that just raised $15 million. But maybe I'm wrong. Like, I hope he does.
Yeah, it
Um,
could be okay. I mean, he's intimately familiar with World of Warcraft and esports, and he's got managerial experience. I don't know that how he's worked with those other companies, but I mean, I wouldn't say I don't have faith in this just based off that blurb. You would have to obviously dive deeper.
This looks like a list of actors, and I'm assuming people that are participating in the artwork or the creative side of the card game, which is cool. So they've got like some notable people here internationally, which is interesting, and that might be why there's so much hype. That I guess that's a demonstration of traction, but we haven't seen anything about the asset that they're selling, right? Tokens. What's going on here? What's with the tokens, guys? Here we go. We're running out of time too, man. Should we just go to the revenue model and the token model?
Yep. And maybe NFTs if we have time, but I doubt it.
All right. The revenues: in-game item sales, virtual currency sales, digital collectible sales, advertising and promotion, sponsorship. So I guess the list of usual suspects. Are they using the token for any of this? So it's used as a
Polygon.
crafting material, allowing users to create customized in-game items with Aether Games. It's also used for staking in the Aether Vault, a decentralized application that allows users to store, manage their AEG tokens. It can also be used to nest within heirlooms, a cross-game dynamic NFT that grows over time. That seems like farming from NFT assets. And then it's used as a payment solution within the Aether universe and marketplace, allowing users to buy and sell goods and services, providing a safe and secure way to transact within the marketplace. I think you could do that with USDC.
Well, you missed one too. I think up above, you can mint, you can craft playing cards into NFT. So
Woo!
I don't know what that means. Our game, the cards are normally off chain, but you can specially put them on chain with an NFT. So you have to use AEG token to make them into NFTs.
I think, I mean, that these are utilities that we've used, or that specific utility we've used before, right? If you've got a game economy, you have let's say a free to play side or a premium side as well, and you have a number of assets. Not all of your assets are going to be on chain. For example, if you look at the Fallout game series, you can like craft a weapon or upgrade a weapon with a Coke bottle and a rubber band and a slingshot and like a piece of wood. I would say none of those assets make sense to be on chain because they're not so in demand, or they're not so they're not so rare or useful. But once you consume all of them into a single asset that's a weapon, makes sense that can be on chain. It can be more valuable and tradable. And in order to do so, maybe you need to spend some money or tokens. So that does make sense. I guess before we dive in, to everyone watching, thanks again for watching. Make sure you tap that like button and make sure you subscribe, because we got more videos coming out, more boom rooms, more on-chain analytics videos, more eye tests, more everything. Carmelo, you want to give your verdict on this one?
Yeah, I guess I could do that. I there's not. I guess the whole point of these videos is that we did not just have enough time to fully assess this. I think we have enough idea about what the token's going to do. What we don't have an idea about is how many games they're going to develop in the future. So this token economy and utility might make a whole lot of sense once we see maybe they're building an MMORPG or something like, I don't know, first-person shooter or something. If they just stay a card game, then it seems like a lot of these are unnecessary. And again, it seems like a lot of money to raise. But at the same time, if they're developing more games, then maybe they're under-raising. That's always a possibility. We've seen this with gaming studios where they maybe come out with more digital assets because they realize they under-raised for the development of a AAA quality game. So I don't know. I think they're doing all the right things. They got enough hype. Everybody's talking about them. They got every launchpad listing them. They got a listing on Bybit. So I think it will do well. I think the gaming market is very saturated right now, so I personally am very careful on what I allocate my resources and time and even looking into. So I don't think this stands out as anything too mind-blowing, so I would probably give it a thumb sideways, give them the benefit of the doubt, and look a little bit deeper just out of curiosity to see if they're doing anything really new and outrageous and interesting with their token economy, especially in their digital assets, why it makes sense to have these as NFTs. Why this even needs to be on chain. It looks like you could just build a card game online and have it on Epic Games and then call it a day. So I don't know why these assets cost so much money. But a good team will take feedback or they will pivot and they will realize what their audience truly wants. So if they do that, then power to them. So yeah, one thumb sideways for me.
Interesting. I think you gave them a lot of leniency. I don't want to be critical, but I think it's important to try and be critical from an investor perspective. You and I know, like, we've seen a lot of things, and it's important to try and plan for the worst when assessing things on the investment side. I'm concerned about the amount of funds that they raised, honestly. And if you look at the website, if you look at the number of IDOs and private sales and strategic sales across the board, across a number of different platforms, it's very obvious that the team is focused on selling tokens. And if they wanted to do that more effectively, it would be very, very helpful for them to create more speculation by potentially releasing more videos or more visual content around what the product is. This is a game, and you and I haven't seen anything about the game so far. We saw like a
True.
couple of videos of characters rotating, but you and I know that these guys have been around for over a couple of years, and I don't know if I've seen any gameplay footage. And they're selling cards, like card packs, at $300, and they've raised $15 million supposedly, and they're launching a token. And so, like, where's the product? This is not the standard anymore. There's a lot of GameFi projects that raised funds and never developed a game or never showed even a semblance of a game or gameplay videos. But that was 2 years ago, and standards have changed. And so if I'm interested in investing in a token that you tell me is going to be used in a product, I kind of want to see what the product looks like. So I'm not a huge fan of what I'm seeing here. It's possible that maybe they're raising funds for subsequent games, but at this point, they don't even have, like a gameplay video of a card game, which you and I know card games are not. They're not so resource intensive to develop. In fact, we've designed a couple of card game economies. We know individuals and teams that have developed card games for far fewer funds, or far fewer, fundraise. So I'm trying to understand like what's been done so far and why there's so much hype if it's not just like partnerships and a Bybit listing and some actors on the website. So I'm going to stay critical and say I'm going to give this one thumbs down, but I do want to dive a little bit deeper and understand, what the product looks like. I'm not a huge fan of what I see on the token economy side so far. It seems like a lot of these utilities don't need to exist, but I want to see if there's an actual game somewhere because I like card games, I like video games, and if it exists, the visuals look cool. I want to play it. Maybe not $300 barrier of entry, play it, but I'd be interested. So for now, one thumb down. I don't think I would invest in this token. I think it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, those are great points. Like, it's absolutely maddening. Like, it's madness to not have a free to play version in this day and age. Like, that's the whole point of Web3 is to have a free to play version and then convert people into the premium economy. And also, you're absolutely right. I forgot to mention that, but no game trailer with actual gameplay is definitely damning. This close to launch, like, I would be wondering if there's any game at all, unless maybe there's some AMAs or they've been doing. We don't know. See, 10 minutes, we don't know if they've been showing off gameplay. But what we've seen so far, no gameplay.
Yeah. Well, that's 10 minutes in the books on Aether Games. Again, thanks everyone for watching. I think quite critical on this one, but sometimes you gotta throw a wrench into the engine, into the mix, whatever the saying goes. Make sure you tap that like button, subscribe, throw us a follow. We're gonna be back with more 10-minute eye tests and more content in the future. Sasha and Carmelo signing off. Thank you, y'all.
Bye.
Ciao.